Hello there, ladies, gentlemen and unicorns. Welcome to a let's play of my very own Ludum Dare 44 game. This video is supposed to launch concurrently with my code review of my Ludum Dare 44 game. So if you're more interested in the actual nitty-gritty and the details of how everything goes, I urge you to check out this card here. I hope I'm not pointing in the wrong direction, where you can find me talking about line by line how I made things with GameMaker. This video here is just a let's play of my own game with a lot of talking of my design decisions and what went wrong and what went right. Okay, enough talking, let's dig right into Memorandum. Once you click the cute little pawn icon, you see the very last thing that I made for this game, and that is this bare bones little title screen. I wanted to have more going on there, perhaps maybe some animation of floating chess pieces in the background and some music, but I had a lot of technical problems during the jam, and I only managed to do this in literally the last minutes to have this title screen, but at least it does everything that a title screen needs to do, that is relay the name of the game and who made it. And this at least I got down. So let's just click and start the game proper. Darkness, all-engulfing darkness. Then the slender door to the afterlife appears before you. But this is not the end. It's merely the beginning of your journey. I wanted to set the mood there with a little bit of music and just 2 lines of text, so that you don't get fatigued by something if there's 3 paragraphs of text, because I don't really like this with narrative or text games as much as I enjoy reading, or at least as I don't mind reading on the screen. If you can see, okay, for the next 5 minutes I'll be just staring at the same screen, this is not going to be fun, and this is why I try to keep everything that I want to relay there in very short chunks, and always with the player having some kind of interaction, in a sense that they need to click something or choose an option or a choice, make a choice. Just something along those lines that you don't fatigue from reading too much. Let's venture forth then. And here we are at the tutorial. Of course, I need to teach players how to play the game, but still I wanted to have something in the game that sets the mood, sets the atmosphere, that we know where we are and where are we going. So just use WASD to move, and we have this little thing here. So apparently this is us, or this is the player, and make it to the passage to the next plane of existence, just to get some terms down. So this is the passage, those steps leading down. So players can only click understood, so I hope that they really did. And this is why we are here in this very first simple level. It is just to make sure that the players got the controls down, that we can progress from here. What this level is intended to teach the players is that they can move left and right, but if they want to get to the passage, well, they also need to learn how to move up and down. I know this is very basic stuff, but it never hurts to start off very basic and then ramp things up, then to assume something or some knowledge that players don't have. Perhaps you have a different kind of audience for your game. For example, text games, I can't expect that everyone is familiar with the classic shooter movement. So this is why I'm teaching players WASD. If this was intended for broad release, I would have probably perhaps even a text there that reads move WASD or use WASD to move around. So if players experiment here, they seldom do, but if they do, they will realize, those are obstacles that they can't move past, and as well as the boundaries there of all those tiles they can't move past, but they can, without penalty or any consequences, move within those tiles. And of course, they easily get stuck there if they push. I'm pushing now right and up and the pawn is stuck because of my very hacky movement implementation. I wanted to have some kind of momentum and just acceleration for the pawn, but as will be clear in my code review, this didn't work. So yeah, once players really understood that they need to get to the passage, we fade out and have here the only illustration that's there in the rest of the game. Again, I wanted to have more of those just to illustrate some points or something that is said in the text. But again, yeah, running out of time, and this was the only one that I managed to stick in there. But at least from a programming standpoint there, it works to have some kind of text and images there. And you open the door and you step inside. By the way, this is a small reference from the lyrics from one of the Fight Club songs. That is, I think it's Tyler Durden, Medulla Oblongata. It's the song that's called. It's an endless plain, made up of all the blacks and whites of your life. But you have no eyes for it. You are here to rescue your loved one, whatever the cost. You spot a figure not far ahead. It looks not as threatening as the others around. Is that a wry smile on their face? Yeah, couple of things here that I wanted to get down there in the text or explain in the text. One thing is you are here to rescue your loved one. Again, I really wanted to make sure that players understand what the goal of the game is. Otherwise, I mean, with a narrative game, you want to have a narrative goal also. The other thing is that it says here, this figure, it looks not as threatening as the others around. Well, let's approach. The thing is that I wanted to have different chess pieces for different enemy types. And as you can see now, we are the pawn and everything else is this rook here. I'm not quite happy with it because the problem is, yeah, each rook in the game is an enemy, apart from the very first one you encounter. And this is not very coherent. If you meet something that in one instance it doesn't hurt you or even talks to you, and in other instances is an enemy, yeah, you confuse players, and confused players don't have any fun and can't trust the game, and yeah, this is bad. But again, then I'm having here those two rooks to the left and to the right, so that players can see, yeah, they are shooting in a set interval up and down. So essentially I'm taking knowledge there from Miyamoto's level design, is just first show the player the enemies before they encounter them, so that they already know what they should do. And because I'm just having one enemy sprite there, it means players need to observe what the enemies do before they engage. Again, this is not very coherent in the later game, as I will point out, but this was at least my intention. So again, players can move around here, but there is not much to do. And sooner or later, my guess is that they will try to engage this rook here, because the passage is behind this rook. So what happens now if I interact with it and we get another page of text? Have you come across my loved one? You open, hopeful to get answers. My, look at you, such precious bundle of blood. We might be able to help you for a price, they say pleasurably as beady eyes run over your soul. Yeah, how do they have beady eyes and how do they run over your soul? Yeah, I don't know. This is what you should figure out by yourself with your mind's eye. I'm just providing the text and you do the graphics yourself. Ah, the joy of text games. And again, I'm honing in that we want to rescue the loved one. You can't overstate enough what the player has to do, because if there's nothing else in your game, like with mine, just want to make sure that they really know why they are invested or should be invested. You want my blood? Oh no, silly. We deal in something much sweeter. A life's memories can fetch a pretty price in this place that has no past. Come, let's do business. Maybe I can help you find whoever you are looking for. The figure pokes you in the side as you consider their questionable offer. Yeah, lots of typos still in there. Over the course of your existence, you collected 17 cherished memories of joy and pain, laughter and loss, love and betrayal. They are your life. They are you. But you are here to rescue your loved one. I'm not asking for all of them, silly, the figure remarks. Just 2. Will you spare 2 memories for me? Or do you rather find the passage on your own? But beware, not everyone is as loquacious as myself. They chuckle, drooling ever so slightly. For my standards, it's a lot of text there on one page. Again, just to make sure, I'm telling the player, we are dealing there with memories, and we can spend some memories there. And this helps you getting along because memories are traded at this place. The next thing is, if this is your resource, well, how much do I have in stock? And it is 17 memories. I know 17 is a very gamey number because over your life you collected just 17 cherished memories. But again, it's a game, and I wanted to tweak this number, and I think I arrived at a good number, a good amount with 17, because it's not too little that the game is overly hard, because each time you get hit, it takes you 1 memory. But again, I also don't want it that players have so many memories that they can pretty much just skip every level and still get to an ending. And again, always you are here to rescue your loved one. I think this was one of the last times that I wanted to make sure that at least 3 or 4 times I have it in there, the goal of the game. And the first choice you can really make now in this game is find the passage on your own or relinquish 2 memories. Essentially, this means skip a level but lose health, or try the game on your own. I'm not happy with how this turned out. Initially, I wanted to have it like this, that with each level you would get some kind of hint of how hard the level would be. For example, it's more twitch reaction based, or it's more puzzle based, or it's a lot of fast enemies, or just a bunch of slow but fast shooting enemies. Along those lines that you as a player know, I'm not too good at puzzles, so I just skip this level and maybe play all the others. But again, you really can't know. So you can either relinquish 2 memories here and just skip the first level, or you can find the passage on your own. Again, it's not very clear. Yes, this is the first, real level in a sense. And by now, I think... And by now, players already know what they can do or should be doing. As you can see, we got this health bar here. This one started out a couple of pages back. Yes, I measure my game in pages. I'm not happy with this, because this is 17 memories represented as a bar. And because the number 17 is not like some kind of fluid, intangible number like you have usually with health, where it's just a globe filled or just a percentage, but 17 memories, that's a discrete number, and it would have been better if I just had some kind of bead here, like 17 red little circles, so that you know that each one of them counts. But in the end, like I said, I was tweaking this number up and down, and this was the fastest solution, to just have a bar that represents health. Okay, players know how to move and that those things shoot, and they should pretty much avoid them. And if they don't, they lose a memory. As you can see here, we've lost this amount of health on each side, and we had a little bit of text there. The text floated away pretty fast because my intention was, it's a fleeting memory and you are forgetting it. So as a player, you really in the midst of it, you don't have time, or you can't afford the attention to read this text, and you just read parts and bits of it, and again, it's a fleeting memory. You're forgetting it. You should feel some kind of remorse. So, man, I didn't get this. What was this? Something you forgot. I mean, this all sounds very nice and well and intellectual on paper, but for players, if you're playing this, you think, damn it, I didn't get this, and you have FOMO, fear of missing out something, and this can be quite strong and quite frustrating. So not the best design decision. But this was the first level. And now we are here on this page. The first paragraph always, in this case, is 2 lines, but this one here changes each time, and those last 2 don't. Since, like I said, this room here, you come back to this page over and over again. programmatically until there are no more new levels, and then you get to the final level and the game ending. I wanted to have some kind of flavor text that was different each time that you arrive at this page. I made this for this description here, this first 2 lines there. As we will see, this will always be something different, but the other 2 lines, I forgot about them or didn't have any time, and when I realized that this was pretty much still placeholder text, I wasn't too happy. You made it past the first resistance of this plane of existence, yet not without losses. Oh great, there's even rhyming in there. A figure drifts by, hisses at you. You hiss back. The figure leers until you turn your head away. Another test awaits, and another eager merchant offering safe passage. Looking to offer safe passage, and there's even a period missing there. Oh well. Why so glum, chum? You don't need all those memories, do you? As it is pretty much apparent that this line here is not the best written. Again, this was just some kind of goofy stand-in text, and since I thought it's so goofy, it will probably stand out like a sore thumb, so that I can spot it easily that I still need to change it. Didn't work that way with text. You always have to read it, and at a certain point you just get used to it and it gets overlooked. So this stupid line there, this also should be changed at each time you arrive at this page. And again, now we can choose to sell 3 memories and skip the level or find the passage on our own. Okay, here this is just a variation of the level before, teaching players, yes, those rooks not only shoot up and down, but they can also shoot left and right, so better beware. And I always intended to start players in a safe place, again, just that they can observe the level and what they need to do and where they need to go. When I deviate from this, it will become pretty obvious. Figures pass. They mutter and whisper, lick their lips as they talk of memories. And then we have the same text as before, another test awaits. And with this writing here, I wanted to keep it very short and very terse, but also wanted to have as much impact or carry as much atmosphere and mood as possible with as little text as necessary. Because again, I don't like reading pages and pages on text that in the end doesn't offer you anything apart from, this is a door, you can open it. Okay, let's try the next level here. And again, starting players in a safe place and teaching them, there are even some enemies that shoot bullets that are targeted at your position. So when you move closer, you can see that they are shooting directly at you. So again, you are pretty safe here, and you, like you've just witnessed, and if you just move from the left to the right, nothing bad will happen, but just beware that there are enemies that can shoot pretty fast and in your direction. So take note of this. Life isn't black and white, but this afterlife certainly is. I think this was one of the last lines for the flavor text that I've written, because I couldn't think of anything else. By the way, this flavor text line here is picked from a list of multiple lines, so each time it's one random entry, but it's not just picked randomly, it's actually plugged, as I call it in the text. It's I get into this in detail in my code review, but essentially it works like this. I have a list of like 12 or 15 replies there, or flavor text lines, and once one line is picked, it gets deleted from this list so that it doesn't show up twice in one game. And the same thing happens with memories that you lose. So I think I wrote 20 memories or 25 different memories, so each time you play you get a different set of memories. Okay, again starting off players in a safe place, and now it's 2 moving rooks, and they only shoot left and right, but they shoot pretty quickly and fast left and right, so we really need to be on the lookout here, and if we manage to get from here to there, as you saw it, we are safe. But again, it's observing what's happening in the level and then just making a run for it. A long time has passed, or did it only seem that way? Hard to tell in a place that's out of time. And again, why so glumchum? So for the next level, this is some kind of puzzle level, as I like to call it. Essentially, it's just a number of sections. First, you start off very safely, and then you can, if you haven't already, you can move around and try to move out of this board, and it doesn't work. So you can, you know, there's no easy way to get down to the passage. Okay, so you have to make your way through, and this is just, the first one is just timing, the second is also timing, but you can either wait for it, like here in this safe space here, or you can try and be as fast as possible. At first, the bullets weren't as fast as the player, some were faster, others were a little bit slower, and this level was much harder because each time you really had to make sure that you either step out of the way of a fast bullet, or that you don't move too fast, that you catch up with a slow bullet. And in the end, yeah, it wasn't fun. And like it is now, it feels like once you get the rhythm, you can breeze through. The air is clear but cold and stings like needles in your nose with every breath. The fire inside of you keeps you warm. Yeah, with my writing, I was very much inspired, or not even inspired. I aspire to have the writing in this game to be along the lines of the games from Inkle, for example, 80 Days, or the great writing from Sunless Sea and Sunless Skies and Fallen London. It is just amazing how well this is written. It's also just not much text, but it carries across so much of the world and the characters and the overall flair and atmosphere. And this is what I wanted to try to do, to have this little text game that's just move your pawn from left to right, in a sense, appear more grander than it actually is. And so, yeah, I'm trying to relay some kind of emotions or temperature, or yeah, that this, just in the sense that just this place feels bigger than it actually is. Okay, now with this level here, this is the first, let's call it hard level, because here again you're in a safe position, but you can see, wow, those turrets there are firing pretty fast. By the way, also the speed of their bullets is random when we start the game, or when we start the level. I'm not quite sure why I made this, but I think I have like 20 variations of enemies. Some can shoot up and down, some in all directions, some targeted, some target you, some move around, and so on. And you get quite a number of combinations out of there. But again, it's always the same sprite, so you really need to give players a chance to observe how it's going on. So after here, you duck out from your cover and make a run for it, and if you play it like this, it's pretty easy, but I think players have a hard time with this level already. So perhaps this is too soon to have such a difficult level in the game. But yeah, didn't have lots of time to play test. You emerge again at yet another plane. Why is it always an endless plane? Looking at the checkered horizon makes you feel slightly ill. I'm lampshade hanging here, which means that, yeah, I'm really pointing out that it's ridiculous that it's just always this plane of existence and it's always a checkered plane. So yeah, I'm trying to let players in on the joke that, yeah, I myself, as the author of this game, am aware that it's actually pretty silly, this setup. But now that I said it, I think it should be okay. At least I hope so. Okay, the next one here. I wanted to have all of my levels have a different theme, and this theme is here that you are being confronted with the first enemy that could be that's not as stationary, but this one really is targeting you and trying to catch you in a sense. And because you can outmaneuver it to the left and to the right, it's shooting left and right. Also tried that it would be shooting up and down also, but this was a little bit too hard. But once you figure it out, like here, that you can easily have this thing here glitch out and get stuck there on this obstacle, this is pretty easy. And again, this one is here just finding the right rhythm and moving between the bullets. Like I said, I wanted all of my levels to have a different kind of theme, and I also wanted to have this be reflected in the story, that maybe they get aware of you, that you're trying to rescue a loved one, and that you get hunted, you get ambushed, that the rooks are aware of you and try to stop you, just to make it a little bit more interesting and to have some kind of dramatic arc in there. But right now it's just a random text and a level. You feel sore, as if there's a gash inside you. Your loved one waits for you. You need to push on. Man, this is badly written, but yeah, I really was low on time, and I just needed to produce a number of those replies there. Okay, this one here, if you observe the level for too long, as you've just seen now, you really have to make a run for it. This is my ambush level, and it's not very fair, because I've been teaching the players, if you stand still at the start of each level, you're good. You're good, nothing bad can happen to you as long as you don't move. And this is, I think, the only level, maybe the one before it, is if you don't move, you're pretty much screwed. My intention was to tell the players, sometimes you just need to make a run for it in life and also in the afterlife. But again, as a game, this feels overly cheap, and it's not fun being ambushed by this many turrets. Strangers drift by. Some are lost souls, wandering for all eternity. Others seem like they are on a quest similar to yours. Again, just trying to make the whole game feel bigger than it actually is. And here we are at the very last level, and again, they are also targeting you. So perhaps this level is also one where you really can't mess about. Okay, so once you outmaneuver all those guards, as I wanted to have them there in the story, the music changes, and we are here at a different page there that only reads, "There's a light at the end. Could it be?" And now that the music has changed to something more uplifting and more grand and epic, we're here at the last level that is just telling a story, that we're moving from left to right to what must be our loved one. And looking at it right now, it doesn't make a lot of sense artistically, because the pawn, actually, it's not a pawn that's seen from the top, right? It's a pawn seen from the side. But the rest of the game is in this top-down isometric perspective here. And your loved one is this human-like shape that's just there in fetal position in this cone of light there. But you aren't a human figure, you're this chess piece. So yeah, there's quite a lot of discrepancy between those two art styles here. So this doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think it's what you should get there is just the feeling of the emotion of finding for the first and only time a human figure in this very abstract and very unwelcoming afterlife. So once we approach it, and I think everyone does this, we fade out and get the second best ending. After all those rooks and crooks, the memory peddlers and the hungry merchants, you see a familiar shape peel from the surrounding darkness. It's your loved one. And the next text block is dependent on whether you get the best ending or the worst ending or one in between. That is the one that we are reading right now. Could it be? Your loved one exhales, hope in their eyes. You don't recall their color. I came to take you back. But you don't recall where back is or used to be. Your loved one looks at your face, puzzled. You have changed, they remark. But I'm so glad you came. The ensuing embrace feels familiar, but you can't be sure. You feel forlorn, and your loved one notices too. Come, let's go home. I don't remember, you say, but as the darkness falls around you, your loved one whispers, you don't have to. We'll make new memories together. Darkness. All-engulfing darkness. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this piece of text here, which means, you've made some sacrifices. Haha, another Ludum Dare theme. You've made some sacrifices, and don't have all your memories anymore. But it's okay, because you can make new ones now. So before moving on, I want to show you what the worst ending looks like, and then we will look at the very final screen, which is, not that interesting. So I'm intentionally losing here and literally losing all my memories. Now that they are on top of each other, they are even harder to read. I'm well aware of this, but let's just roll with it and see what the bad ending has in store for us. Also, the music is different. The music fades over in this cacophony of disjointed themes that are layered on top of each other, in a sense that, it's just confusion and you can't be really sure what this means, and just in a sense reflecting on what's happening in the story. You lost it all. Every fiber of your past, every bit of your life, gone. What remains is an empty shell, indifferent and forlorn. I really like the word forlorn. Apparently this popped up twice now. You drift further and further, not knowing any longer the goal of your quest. You meet many strangers, none showing any interest in you. You are of no worth to them. Then there's a stranger that seems to know you. Tears in their eyes, they cup your face. You came. I knew you'd come looking for me. It means nothing to you. Their eyes harden. It's not you. It looks like you, but who are you? Why would you torture me like this? Before you can respond anything, the stranger buries their face in their hands, tears running down from utter despair. You shrug and continue roaming the plains of existence, leaving the broken stranger behind. Not that you need to, but you don't know anything else to do. The light keeps fading, yet you wander and wander until everything ceases to be. Darkness, all-engulfing darkness. Yes, this should be a bad ending, because this was the actual spark of inspiration that I had for making this game was, if you pay with your life's memories to rescue a loved one, and in the end, you managed to get there, but in the process, you've lost all your memories and you don't recognize them, or you don't really know them. And I think this is especially harsh. So this one should really tug at your heartstrings, at least a little bit, because you failed the game, and the loved one you've managed to rescue, well, you don't know them anymore, and it doesn't mean anything because you're the person with no past and also no future. So very, very grim ending. But either way, if you end on a positive ending or the best ending, which personally took me 20 attempts to make it, you always get this little statistics screen that just lists with how many memories you started and with how many you ended and what ending you saw. Again, there are 3 endings. This one is the worst, then the other we saw before, and the best ending where you don't take 1 bit of damage. And I don't think it's the best ending in a sense. It's only from a game's perspective the best ending, because it's just so boring. You are this shining knight, this perfect hero who manages to get to their loved one without failing even once, and you saved the day and your loved one. So it's pretty boring. But again, I wanted to have some kind of reward for players who really managed to beat the game without taking damage. So be sure to try again if you made a bad ending. And again, thank you for playing. And what I like about games is when they're not too long and don't overstay their welcome. And this is why once we click let it end, it will fade out and the game will close itself, because it's the polite thing to do. So, and I think this is everything there is to this game. So let it end. And that's all there is to the actual game. Again, if you're interested now in the code and how everything works under the hood, please check out my video of the code review of Memorandum. I made this with Game Maker, so it's always good if you already have a basis with GML, the Game Maker language. I think you should follow fine there. Okay, that's it from me. Again, thank you very much for watching and see you soon.